music, art help change the world?
Well, it's a huge question.
Yeah.
But it's a very important question right now, and it's actually something that in this classical music field is being asked all the time. And one of the most important things is also how to bring music to everybody and kind of break down the barriers or the stigma that classical music is only for the elite, or you have to be incredibly educated or to understand it, to enjoy it. And so that's the biggest stigma that needs to be broken, and it's people in my field like myself that it's our job to try to actually break that stigma. And one thing that music can do actually, to answer your question, is that I think there's nothing actually that trains abstract thinking as much as that. Because when we're reading music, we just see black dots on a page. And we have to translate those into emotions. And I don't think there's anything as abstract as seeing like a black little dot and turning that into like something sad or happy, or so if that becomes very natural for you, everything I think is actually possible, or nothing is kind of, everything is possible and makes sense to you. So that would be one thing. And then also studies just show that music generates certain parts of your brain and helps teach you discipline. I mean, well, you guys know this from doing sports. It's like sort of working together, leaderless cooperation. We deal with all of those things in music. And then also we deal with very much since I'm talking to you athletes here, we do deal with also how to perform at the highest level under the highest level of stress and the preparation that goes into it. And we are extremely lucky that, while the music business is extremely cutthroat, extremely competitive, the subject itself is very beautiful and pure, and you can actually devote your entire life trying to master that craft. And again, as you guys know, there's something incredibly satisfying about trying to become as good as something that is this specific, and gratifying about that. So in a certain way, if we do have enough people maybe that dedicate themselves into art or whatever it is, I think just, having people are then happier, more balanced, then I think it just maybe then in the big picture can help us create a better world.
And then we only have two more questions after that. The first one's a really important one because it's not necessarily about being a foreign artist, but just a different person. How can your music help people understand your background as an artist, the type of music you play?
That's a really good question. And actually, I think actually my job is to sort of, so I can't really answer the question because my job is in a way try to not to get in way of the music. So when I am interpreting a piece of music, I'm trying to make it interesting and bring it to you without me getting in the way. So you're just listening to a beautiful piece by Mozart rather than listening to me play the music. So in that regard, my job is to try to, when I'm performing, not to actually make you aware of that I'm from Iceland. However, I can, on the other hand, because of what I have, I can actually go to different cultures and bring maybe music of somebody from Thailand or Africa or wherever into Germany and Japan or wherever, so I can bring maybe cultures from different places to different places, and that's what I can do. But my job is not to get in the way of the music, if that makes sense.
And then, the last question was, how does communicating through music differ from communicating through other things like sign language and even speech?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the main difference is that we don't have words, unless you're like singing and have like lyrics. But if we're just talking about abstract music, then we're dealing with senses and emotions, and maybe also dealing with communicating kind of feelings or emotions that are maybe hard to describe. So that's the biggest difference. So while a writer will have to, and also that if I'm a writer, I am very much bound to my language, but in music I'm not. But then I'm bound to the fact that people need to have a hearing.
That is very true.
You can be blind and enjoy it.
Yep.
And then that's all we had.
Okay.